Hello and welcome everybody to another play review on the channel. This time around I've got the 86 rated team of the season, Dwight Gayle. Now I use him in that team as you saw on your screen in a 4-3-3 and obviously definitely not on that chemistry. I subbed him on, but I just wanted to show you a visual of who he was surrounded by. Once again I switched into the 4-1-2-1-2 narrow and played him as a striker alongside Sun, and in all honesty he outshined Sun in many of the games I played him with. Now, as you can see me putting Sniper on him, but either way, please guys, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you appreciate this content, as I try to do my best in every review. But as you saw, I used Sniper on him to up his shooting and dribbling, to max out his shooting and boost up his dribbling, since he feels a bit clanky on the ball, or at least did so with his 81 rated card, and I kind of think that Sniper card, or chemistry card, got rid of it. Kicking straight into the review, for the first pro, definitely his shooting, which is probably the most obvious one. It says 94 on the face card and it's so crazy accurate. Look at that weak foot banger length into the bottom left. It's so crazy accurate. It's insane how good this Gayle card is at shooting, and I'm sure all of you already know this by now. And although he scored 12 goals in 7 games for me, it could have been more, since it was actually rather hard to get him into shooting positions. Oh, that's an unlucky shot right there. It was rather hard to get him into the shooting positions that I actually wanted him to be there, mostly because of the 3-star skill moves and his positioning, both of which I'll discuss later on. But once this guy was in a proper position to fire that rocket of a right foot shot, just let it rip. And look at those quick 1-2s. I'll also touch on that later on. But just let it rip. And if I were to compare his shooting with another player, it would definitely have to be compared with 89 Sun. Take a look at this goal right here. Probably the best goal I scored with him in all games. Wow. Wow, that half volley was incredible. Anyway, his shooting is top quality. Next up, his stamina. He's got 88 in-game stamina, and it wasn't extraordinary, but it honestly did the job for the most part. A few times my games went over into extra time, and that's where the lack of stamina really started to show. But I was thoroughly impressed by his stamina, as it took him from minute 1 to minute 90 easily, but most players can't even last for that long, so I had to add it in there. Now, just a little disclaimer, as you'll see, most of the games or goals I scored with him were against my buddy who wanted to play me. Earlier today when I was doing the video, he just really wanted to play me, and I just thought I would try it out on him. But in no way did he give me any of those goals I scored or anything of that sort, and they were all earned goals. Either way, back into the review, his pace. Look at that. Once again, his beautiful shooting, but now we're talking about pace. That's both acceleration and sprint speed. It's ridiculous how fast this guy is on and off the ball. If and once he gets past the defense line, he's completely gone. Especially with the 84 strength he's got, even if a defender were to catch up to him, he would definitely not get shrugged off, and he would just blow past the the defense. That's just an unlucky volley again, but either way, into the review. Now, I didn't add strength as a pro, since in shoulder battles, this Gayle actually gave in and lost the ball more than a few times, but also stood his ground other times. So I didn't put it either as a pro or a con, since it was merely inconsistent, and it just wasn't fair to put it as either. And another thing, since we're on that topic, I also didn't add free kicks into the pros list, but this card has 99 free kick accuracy, which is incredible. Probably the highest free kick taker accuracy I've used this year, and it's incredible. I took 3 free kicks with him and scored 2. However, I didn't add it since it's subjective to the skill of a player using him. But if you can take free kicks, he's so damn good at free kicks, as you'll see in a few clips later on. I scored both free kicks with him that you'll be seeing. Next up, either way, into the review, his passing. In this category, I'll include 2, but leave 1 out that isn't so important to a striker. So I had to put passing up there as a pro. Now, once again, this Dwight Gayle is no De Bruyne or Pirlo on the ball, but he made very crisp and clean short passes. As you saw in a few clips, and will continue to see in a few clips, right there, his quick 1-2 passes with Sun or my cam are extremely deadly. With the 85 short passing in game, it opened up so many chances to sneak behind the back 4. That's the first part. The second part is his crossing, as you saw earlier on, and I think you will see one more time. His crossing, I have no idea why he's got such accurate crossing abilities. It's 84 in-game crossing stat, allowed for near perfect crosses into the box once he drifted into those wide positions, just cross it in and it's pinpointed to the striker that's in the box or whoever is in the box. Now I've included those crosses as you'll see them in a bit, but I just wasn't fortunate enough to be able to finish them. I believe this one is what I'm talking about. Look how accurate this one is. Either way, next up, his dribbling. He's got 86 in-game dribbling stat, which isn't out of the world by any means, but for a striker of the size of Gayle, it was rather great on him, honestly. It allowed him to keep a very close distance to the ball at all times and gave you more than enough time you need to perform any of the 3-star skill moves that you think is necessary at the time. However, I just wish he had 4-star skill moves as he would be so much more deadlier on the ball, but either way, his dribbling was exceptional for the most part. And finally, his aggression, a somewhat controversial pro on this card since he's only got 61 aggression in game. But honestly, this card's aggression feels insane. You can rewind back into the video and saw where he completely shrugged and pushed off Umtiti off the ball. Even just shows the sheer aggression this card has. He just wants to get out there. He wants to put himself out there and dives into tackles to earn the ball back. He will do whatever it takes to get the ball back once he loses it or if he's near it. You feel confident with this guy around the ball, and I love that part. Now that wraps it up for pros. Moving on to the cons of the card. As I discussed, his positioning. Although he's got 94 attacking positioning in game, I found it extremely difficult to find him at times when I needed him the most. Unlike Son, who seems to be right there at the right place at the right time when you needed him to be, this Dwight Gayle card goes invisible a few times here and there in a game, but if and once he gets into the proper position, he is extremely deadly. Now, if you can cope with this, him disappearing a few times in a game, then it shouldn't be a huge issue for you. But for me, it was a big deal. Next up, his curve. Now, this is somewhat of another big deal to me. He's only got 71 curve in game stat, which makes for a very static striker on the ball. And by that, I mean the only thing he offers you is just straight power driven shots and no curve shots, finesse shots. You don't have that luxury with them. Don't get me wrong, if you rip it straight at the keeper or at the net, it'll probably go in, but in those specific situations when you need to curl it around the defender or the keeper, that 71 curve is a poison pill to this Gayle. His shots generate absolutely zero curve as to what I saw, and that's rather annoying for the most of the time I used him for. And finally, I also discussed his skill moves issue. Another huge issue for me. Usually it's a deal breaker, but his shooting, really makes up for it. But nonetheless, any striker with 3-star skill moves for me is a rendered useless card, especially since his positioning is very subpar a lot of times. Finding him in those bad positions and not being able to create his own space was very annoying. So, but if you don't skill at all, this should absolutely be no issue to you whatsoever. But I do skill a lot in my games to open up my own positioning or to open up my own spaces. And to me, that was just kind of annoying. But hey, that's just me. And if you don't do that, then you don't do it. Overall, for me, he was an extremely fun player to use with insane shooting. Just a few annoyances here and there, but once you get used to him, he's very, very dangerous on the ball. For the ultimate review, I'm giving him a 9.5 out of 10 for enjoyability. He was extremely fun to use. He makes scoring goals seem effortless in and around the box. For consistency, I'm giving him a 9 out of 10 for consistency. He felt great throughout most of the games. I just had to get used to him for the first 2 or so games around there, because he is totally a different style of striker to what I'm used to, or anyone else is for that matter. For shooting, I'm giving him a 9.5 out of 10. He has extremely similar shooting to that of Son's, which is a great up in my opinion. And for versatility, I'm giving him a 7 out of 10 in that department. I can only see him being viable at a striker or center forward position, and possibly a center mid position, because he's kind of bulky and he has that great strength to hold down the midfield. For weekend league status, is he weekend league status ready? Definitely, I'm giving him an 8.5 out of 10 for weekend league. He's definitely weekend league status ready. He brings the insane shooting in and around the box you need, and the aggression you need to break down the defenses, as you saw earlier in the clip. And finally, his price. I'm giving him an 8 out of 10 for price. I think it's a very fair price to what this card brings. Just a shame that he doesn't have the 4-star skill moves, or I'd definitely be giving him around a 9 or even possibly more. Well guys, that's a wrap for today's episode on the 86 rated Team of the Season Dwight Gayle card. Please hit that thumbs up down below and don't forget to subscribe for more content if you did enjoy. Till next time, peace.